Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are learning a new chapter, mind process. Mind process in Pali is called Vithi. Vithi means the process. The process. So we have two types of process: material process, rupa vithi, and mental process, citta vithi. Right? So in this chapter, this chapter is explaining about mental process. Right? Mental process. So material process will be explained in the sixth chapter. Right? So the word vithi is translated as a mind process or thought process or sometimes cognitive process. Right? Cognitive process. So actually the word vithi can be translated the street as well. The street. Right? We can give the example of Amati line, right? We can call it. So when you want to go to Woodland, right, or Jurong West, so you need to take the MRT, right? So MRT will go to the Jurong West, right, through the MRT line. So just like that, so when our mind arises, so it has a natural law. So according to that natural fixed order or natural law, the mind arises, right? So that is another meaning. But Bhikkhu Bori as well as Sierra Usilananda, they didn't mention about this one. So therefore I didn't write in my note. So I think just remember Vithi means the process of the mind. Normally we have two types of Vithi: material process and mental process. How material phenomena arises, so that is called material process. So this chapter will talk about the mental process, right? How the mind arises, right? Mind process, thought process, and cognitive process. What is mind process? It is called the process because a series of consciousness arise according to fixed order of the mind, performing their respective functions. So as you all know that we have 40 functions of the mind, right? So rebirth linking function, death function, light continuous function, etc. Right? According to their fixed order of the mind, they perform their functions, right? So that process is called Vithi. Cittas do not arise randomly. So they occur a series of cognitive events leading one to the other in a fixed order. So when we learn cognitive process or mind process, and you will see the order, right? Then after advardin, then consciousness, unconsciousness. After unconsciousness, receiving, investigating, determining, jhana, retention, etc. Right? So a series of cognitive events. So they arise in that way. So therefore, it is called the process of Vithi. If you want to go back to Jurong West, right? You have to take the train from Amadi stations, right? So that is the process. Just like that, right? A simple mind process, simple example of mind process from the Sutta. Actually, you have learned this one very often. We have the eye sensitivity, we have the eye, right? Most of the Sutta, they use just eye chakku, right? But here, to be exactly, eye sensitivity, and we have something to see, and then because of these two, then eye consciousness arises. The meeting of these three is called contact. So because of contact, we will have a feeling. Because of feeling, we have a perception. And because of perception, we will have a mental activities. So as you all know that this is according to 5 aggregates, right? According to 5 aggregates. So as you know, eye sensitivity and visible form object. So these are called the aggregate of matter, right? So aggregate of matter. Eye consciousness, this is a vijnana khanda, aggregate of vijnana. Contact, feeling, perception, mental activities. So feeling is a feeling aggregate. Perception is another aggregate. Contact and mental activities. So these are called sankhara khanda, right? The aggregate of mental formations or mental activities. Bhikkhu Sujado, he translates the word sankhara from the 5 aggregate as a mental activities. It's a very beautiful word. So therefore I like this one. Because we see something and we have feeling in our mind and we have perception, a lot of perceptions regarding with that that we see, right? Then because of those perceptions, our mind start to take action, right? So that is mental activities, right? Then we are angry, we have a compassion, loving kindness, like this, right? So this is a simple example of mind process taken as a 5 aggregate, right? Taken as a 5 aggregate. So as you all know that in Majjhima Nikaya we have one Sutta. It's called Cakkapala Sutta. Cakkapala Sutta. Cakkapala means 6 set of 6. We have a 6 type of 6. So we have an eye and a visible form. Because of these two, eye consciousness. Because of eye consciousness, contact. Because of contact, feeling. Because of feeling, how to say that, craving. So in that Sutta, the Buddha skipped perception, right? Perception. Then because of based on feeling, then craving arises, right? So if you are mindful, so craving will not arise, right? Just mindfulness or just wisdom, right? So just like that. So in that Sutta, so the Buddha skipped perception. So that doesn't mean that perception is not important. Actually, it is one way of teaching the Dhamma, right? Teaching the Dhamma. This is a simple way of mind process, right? So I always often said that dependent origination also mind process. Citta Vithi, right? citta, vīthi. As you all know that we have a ignorance, right? Because of ignorance, we have a how to say, the karma formation. We do good and bad, right? After doing good and bad, we have a consciousness, right? Because of consciousness, mind and how to say, the nama rupa. Based on nama rupa, we have a 6 peaks. Because of 6 peaks, we have a contact. Because of contact, we have a feeling. Because of feeling, we have a craving. Because of craving, we do karma formation again, right? So just like that. This is a mind process as well. So even the dependent origination, it is just mind process. We normally call samsara. Samsara is nothing but the process of the mind, right? Then we have a death consciousness and we have a rebirth consciousness. Then after that, we will have a death consciousness again. In between, a lot of mind process, right? So samsara means the intellect process of the mind, right? And as well as not only the mind, together with the material form as well, right? Circle of the life, as we all know that we will have a rebirth consciousness in this life, and we will have a light continuance in between. Then at the end, we will have a death consciousness. So these three are called process free. Process free. So it is out of the process. So actually it is a type of process, but it is passive process, right? Passive process. When we have a mental activities in this life, so these mental activities do not have any connection with these functions: rebirth consciousness, light continuum, and death consciousness, right? So this is a cognitive process. Cognitive process. Even the process free, we can call it cognitive process, right? Cognitive process. So we will have a rebirth consciousness, Vīthi-citta, the first citta in this life, right? The first citta in this life. That in between there will be a lot of light continuance, a lot of bhavacakka. Then we will have a death consciousness. So that can be called process-free citta, right? Then we will mind process. So this is a rebirth consciousness, rebirth linking consciousness. Then after that, we will have a light continuance, a lot of light continuance. Then after light continuance, we will have a mind process. Our mind start to take action, right? So therefore, active process of the mind. Then after that, we will have a light continuum again. So as we all know, you can see that light continuums are not active, right? Not active. They are passive. They are flowing, how to say, they quietly, right? Then after that, we will have a mind process again. So when we have a contact with the object, so there will be mind process again. Then light continuum, mind process, light continuance. Then at the end of the day, we will die, right? So that is how the mind is working, right? How the mind is working. In this chapter, we are going to learn mind process, right? We are going to learn mind process. So next chapter, we will learn a process-free chaitas, like continuum, rebirth linking consciousness, like continuum, and death consciousness, right? So we will learn next chapter. For this chapter, we are going to learn mind process, active process of the mind. Next chapter is passive process of the mind. So we cannot do that, right? It arises because of our past karma. We cannot control that. What we can control is active process of the mind, right? Any question up to here? So I think we have been learning a lot, huh? So here, mind process. Apart from 9 supply resultant chetas, so the rest are Vīthi-citta. The rest are Vīthi-cittas. So these 80 chetas, if you deduct 9, right, out of 89, so we have only 80 chetas. These 80 chetas arise when they contact with the object in this lifetime. So they are called Vīthi-citta. We can call them active cognitive process. When we see something with our eye, then a series of mind process arises. Cognitive citta arises, right? So they are very active, right? When we hear some song that is happening in this life, right? Then a series of active cognitive process arises. So they are called cittas, right? Vīthi-cittas, mind process citta, right? Altogether 80. So as you all know that rebirth linking consciousness and life continuum and death consciousness, they take the object of the last jhana citta in previous life, right? In previous life. So therefore, so those cittas that function make 3 functions, so do not have any connection with the object in this life, right? So they are called process-free citta. So this one, current one is active cognitive process. So they will have connection with the object in this lifetime, right? In this lifetime. So we have 80 Vīthi-cittas. So we can classify these 80 according to their functions, right? According to their functions. So we have 2 type of advardin cittas. As you all know that 5-door advardin. When the object arises in the 5 doors, so this citta open the door. Another one is mind door advardin consciousness. So when the object arises in the mind door advardin citta open the door, right? So according to functions, we have 2 type of advardin consciousness, and we have 2 set of 5-fold consciousness, 2 type of unconsciousness, 2 type of ear consciousness, 2 type of no consciousness, 2 type of tongue consciousness, and 2 type of body consciousness. And we have 2 type of receiving consciousness, 3 type of investigating consciousness, and we have 1 type of determining consciousness. So determining consciousness and mind or advardin consciousness are the same mind, the same consciousness, but what the difference is only the function, right? The function is different, the consciousness is the same. So therefore, we don't count this one. So we have 55 jhana cittas, and we have 11 retentive consciousness. But 3 retentive consciousness have been taken under investigating consciousness, right? So therefore, we take only 8. So altogether, 80 Vīthi-cittas. So the rest, all the 9 cittas are called process-free or vīthimutta, right? Vīthimutta. So if you look at this one, you will know mind process, right? Not difficult anymore. So we have a process-free citta. 9 supply resident cittas are the process-free vīthimutta cittas, because they perform the function of rebelling kin, like continuum and death in their respective realms only. They do not have any connection with the object in this lifetime, right? So therefore, we can call them passive cognitive process. So we can't do anything about that, right? We can't do anything about that. So in the manual, Abhidhamma Sangha, we have the six set of the six Cakkapala. Actually, taking the example of Cakkapala Soda, the compiler of Abhidhamma Sangha, so use the word Cakkapala, six set of six. So that means we have this is a contains that we are going to learn, right? The six title that we are going to learn. Number one, six bases, chapter 2. So we have learned six bases in the previous chapter, right? Still remember? What did we learn? Where did you learn? Six bases. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and heart base, right? Heart base or the base of the mind. So actually we are not, we don't need to learn this one. We have learned it, right? Another one is six doors. So we have learned the six doors as well, right? So we don't need to write this one in this chapter. Then number 3, six objects. So we have learned this one as well, right? We have 6 objects. So what are them? What are these? Visible form, sounds, smell, taste, tangible object, and Dhamma object or mental object, right? Mental objects. So we have 6 objects. So we don't need to mention this one again. The next one is called 6 type of consciousness. We have 6 type of consciousness. Cha-vinyana. So later I will show this one. The number 5, 6 processes. We have cha-vithi. We have 6 type of vīthis. And number 6, 6-4 presentation of objects. 6-4 occurrence of objects. Cha Visya Bhavati. So out of 6, so we have learned 1, 2, 3, right? So we have to learn only 4, 5, 6, right? 4, 5, 6. 6 type of consciousness. This one also, how to say, very easy one. Eye consciousness, Chakku Vinyana, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind consciousness, right? So here, mind consciousness. It is the same with the door, right? The same with the door. Eye door, ear door, nose door, tongue door, body door, and mind door, right? Mind door. So these are 6 type of consciousness. And 6 cognitive process. We have 6 cognitive process according to the doors. Right? Normally we use according to the doors. According to the doors, right? The process connected with the eye door when the object contact with the eye, right? A series of cognitive process arises. So that is called the process connected with the eye door, the process connected with the ear door, the process connected with the nose door, the process connected with the tongue door, connected with the body door, and connected with the mind door. So these are 6 type of process, right? Processes. 6 type of process. Vithi. Normally we use eye door process, right? Eye door process. Chakku Vijnana Vithi. Chakkudvara Vithi, right? Chakkudvara Vithi. In terms of consciousness, we have a 6 type of process. The process connected with the eye consciousness, connected with the ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. So that are mentioned in Manual Abhidhamma, right? Manual Abhidhamma. I think not difficult, right? Okay, let's go. Conditions for indoor cognitive process. When we talk about indoor process, so we have 4 conditions, right? 4 conditions. Number 1, we must have eye sensitivity. If somebody has lack of eye sensitivity, there will be no indoor process, right? So that is the first condition. It's a very important one. As you all know that in immaterial realms, so they don't have eye sensitivity, right? So therefore they cannot see. Then number 2, visible object. There must be a visible object, right? That is also one of the conditions. Another one is light. So actually this is not what the Buddha taught. It is according to commentary, right? Then you can see page number 151. Page number 151. According to commentaries, we have 4 conditions. Actually, there are many conditions, but it is the main conditions, right? Main conditions. So when you want to, when you see something, then that means there must be a light, right? Otherwise, you cannot see. You cannot see. How about devas? Can they see something without light? I don't think so. They have their own light, right? Even though in the dark, so they will create a light, right? I don't know whether you've heard of one of the meditation method in Myanmar. So they meditate, especially they meditate tranquility meditation, samatha meditations. Then they try to develop a very powerful concentrations using the light, right? Then according to them, using that light, you can see the devas and devi in the heaven, and they can see the pagoda, the heaven, and they can see Shirikon pagoda from Yangon. You can see anything using the light, right? Using the light. It is man-made mind-made light, right? Through the power of the concentrations. And you can practice, right? So we still have some meditation masters who can teach that method, right? If you are interested. Actually, I do not like that method. The reason is it deviates from the original, the purpose of Buddhist teaching, right? So it was popular around 7 years ago in Singapore, among the Burmese devotee. So that method is very popular 8 or 7 years ago, before I came here. So many devotees, they follow that method. But nowadays, I haven't heard of anyone who practice that meditation method, right? So I don't know. For me, I do not like that method. The reason is it is not a main purpose of Buddhist teaching, right? People may follow that method with the full of craving, right? Maybe they want to see something. If they know the main purpose of Buddhist teaching is good, right? It's good anyway. So therefore, light is one of the conditions for the indoor cognitive process. I think science also says so, right? Light. Is there anyone who know the light is a very important condition to see something? So as far as I know that suppose if we see a car, right? If we see a car, the reflection or the light from the car, how to say that, impinging in our retina, right? So that light is very important, right? Maybe that is the light, right? These ones are how to say mentioned in the commentaries, right? Mentioned in the commentaries. Especially, I think that I don't know which commentary. Maybe one of the two. One is a commentary of the first Abhidhamma text. Another one may be Visuddhimagga, right? Visuddhimagga. Number 4, attention. That is very important. According to Buddhism, attention is very important. Without attention, you cannot see anything. You cannot hear anything. Sometimes, even though your parents are in front of you, someone is in front of you, you cannot see them, right? The reason is without attention. You don't have any attention, right? So therefore, that is a very important one. So these are only main conditions for the indoor cognitive process, right? Then next one. So we have 4 conditions for the ear-door cognitive process. Must have ear sensitivity. We must have a sound, right? These are main conditions. Then after that, we must have a space between your ear and the sound. There must be a space, right? So this is also one of the main conditions. Sometimes you cannot see, you cannot hear the sound behind the wall, right? If there is no space. If there is no space, not inner space. Of course, there will be a space, even very thick wall, right? Even very thick wall. So there are even this table is a combination of small particles, right? Small particles. Even between these two particles, there is a space, right? Space. So anyway, to hear the sound, space, akasa, is a very important condition. And number 4, attention, right? So these are 4 conditions for the ear-door cognitive process. Next one is a nose-door cognitive process. Nose sensitivity, smell, air element. Air element. So I think it's very interesting, right? So we get smell through the air, right? So when somebody is frying something, we get smell, right? Because of the air. Because of the air. I don't know what happened to the astronaut who are living in the space. The space is without air, right? In the space, there's no air, right? There's no air. But according to Buddhism, so air element is one of the, essential element, right? Without air element, there will be nothing, right? No material form. So according to Buddhism, even the space, there must be air element, right? But if there is no air element, so they cannot smell anything in the space, right? In the space, astronaut in the space. So they may not know the smelling, right? Smelling. So the air element is one of the conditions. Next one is intention, right? Intention. Okay. Not oxygen. Better use.
Bhante, you mentioned about the astronauts outside Earth. Now they are possible you have air there, but maybe not oxygen. You only can travel oxygen. So what they mentioned that in space there also be air. Yes, it's possible.
But there must be nitrogen, right?
Yes, possible. Other
nitrogen,
gas,
no oxygen.
Yes, even in other planets, Mars and all that, they found that there are some gas inside it. So gas could be part of air as well. Maybe you don't have a specific name. oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc.
These are beyond my knowledge.
I'm just speculating on that. You talk about air, not necessarily oxygen, can be anything else. Right? Even gas is also air itself.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Next one, 4 conditions for the 10-door cognitive process. 10 sensitivity, taste. Then there must be water element. So we have full of water in our 10, right? So therefore we can taste. I think that is a very good reason, right? Very good condition. For those who get treatment for the 10 cancer, what is it? The name of the treatment? Sorry, ulcer. No, I mean cancer. When we have a cancer in the 10, chemotherapy. We use chemotherapy, right? So and then by those time, so all the water element, most of the water element drying off, I think, right? For that reason, even though they eat, they cannot taste. That may be one of the reason, right? So water element. I think this one only for the medical fee, right? Medical fee. And next one is intention. So these are 4 conditions for 10-door cognitive process. Condition for body door cognitive process. Body sensitivity, tangible object, and earth element. Earth element. So this is one of the reasons. So we can touch the table because it is earth element, right? This one is the earth element, and we can call it solidity, right? Solidity. With solidity, therefore we can touch it. And the water element we cannot touch, right? So therefore there is no earth element. Therefore we cannot touch it. Then attention. So these are 4 conditions for body door consciousness. Then 4 conditions for mind door cognitive process. This one is very interesting. So we have number 1, the heart base, Hariya Vatu. Without heart base, the mind cognitive process in the mind door will not arise. But generally speaking, right? But if we was born in the immaterial realm, there is no heart, right? So that is the assumption, right? So generally speaking, the heart base is the important condition for the arising of the mind door, right? Cognitive process in the mind door. Then mental object. So we must have a mental object, Dhammaramna. Then like continuum, bhavacakka. That's very important. Like continuum is called mind door, right? So when we learn about doors in previous chapter, so like continuum is mind door. The reason is actually this is a how to say, this is a simile, just a simile, because when we learn about mind process, we have a stream of bhavacakka, right? Stream of bhavacakka. Then after that, vibrational bhavacakka. Then arrest bhavacakka. Arrest bhavacakka. After arrest bhavacakka, then 5-door advancing consciousness, or mind door advancing consciousness. So that means 5-door advancing consciousness, mind door advancing consciousness, etc. So these minds come out from the bhavacakka, right? Actually, they do not come out from the bhavacakka, just a simile, right? Example, or because after bhavacakka, 5-door advancing consciousness, etc. So these mind arises, right? So bhavacakka is just like a door for the mind, right? For the mind. So therefore, like continuum, bhavacakka is one of the conditions for mind or cognitive process. So without bhavacakka, there will be no cognitive process at the mind door, right? So therefore, it's very interesting, very interesting. Then attention, right? Manasikara. So these are 4 conditions for mind or cognitive process, right? Any question? Okay, no question. Let's go. We have a 2 type of cognitive process. As we have learned 6 type of cognitive process, right? Sometimes we can use depending on doors or depending on consciousness, right? Consciousness. The 6 type of cognitive process are conveniently divided into 2 groups. So you can look at page number 151, right? Page number 151. So conveniently, Bhikkhu Bodhi used the word conveniently. Divided into 2 groups. Number 1, the 5-door process. The 5-door process arises at the 5 physical sense doors: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. So these are physical sense doors, right? Physical sense doors. So they are all together. They are called the 5-door process. I think that this one is very important. The next one is the mind door process. So these mind door cognitive process arises at the mind door. At the mind door, right? So we can divide into 2 groups: the 5-door process and mind door process. I think these are very important, right? These are very important. Six for presentation of objects. Please look at page number 153. Page number 153. Page number 152, guide to 5, right? Six for presentation of objects. We see a bodhi in Pali. It means the presentation of an object to consciousness at the one of the 6 doors. So it is the impact of objects to the mind, to the consciousness, that cause occurrence of consciousness, occurrence of cognitive process. That is called Visaya Bodhi. Stay complicated, right? Basically, so there are 4 presentation of objects at the 5-door process and 2 at the mind door process. Basically, we have 4 presentation of objects at the 5-door process and 2 at the mind door process, right? Then 4 presentation of objects at the 5-door process. Number 1, very great, Atimahanda, very great, Atimahanda. So the object is too great that it makes a big impact to the mind or to the consciousness. The contact between the object and the consciousness is too obvious to the mind. Too obvious to the mind. Maybe the contact between internal and external basis. The contact between internal and external basis is too big that is too obvious to the mind. Suppose I have eye, right? Then I see somebody. The impact or contact is too big that, right, it's obvious to the mind, right? It's obvious to the mind. If you see somebody you love, if you see somebody you do not know, the impact or the contact will not be the same, right? If you see somebody you love, the impact will be too great. The same person, right? The same sight. But if you see somebody, a stranger, the impact of that object in your mind will not be too obvious, right? So regarding with the very great, I think if you see the Bhikkhu Bodhi remark is quite clear. Bhikkhu Bodhi said that the great me, very great me, it doesn't mean the size of the object. It may be, the size may be big or small, it doesn't matter. But here, the very great me, the impact or impingement of the object, the outside objects and outside base, external base and internal base, right? Is too, too obvious that, right? The impact is, very clear. So here, very great me, it's not about the size. It is about how the object, the impact, right, to your mind, Even though the object is very small, right? It's very small, the impact in your mind is very great. As I earlier said that maybe we can give an example. That you see the grass on the ground, right, in front of you. The grass, right? The grass. And you see a jewelry in front of you, right? The same size, but the impact is too big, right? When you see the jewelry, or when you see the, necklace. When you see the necklace on the floor. But you see the same size or the object, but the impact is different, right? It's not about the size. It is the impact of the object to your mind, right? So therefore, here, very great me is not about the size, right? But I couldn't write, complete, the meaning. And when you see the Bhikkhu Bodhi book, it's quite clear, right? Quite clear. Maybe later I will rewrite my note. Huh? When you read this note, I think not very clear, right? So emphasize is impact, right? Next one is great, right? It's great. It's still great, but not very great, right? So I think we decide depending on how many active mind process you have, right? If you have full active mind process, then that will be very great object, right? If create less active mind process, it will be great, right? It will be great. Normally we have a 70 mind moments. So if we have a full 70 mind moments, that will be great, very great objects, right? It's not about the size, right? It is impact or contact to your mind, right? Next one, if we have a less active process of the mind, it will be great object. The next one, and lesser is a light, right? Light object. The next one is a very light, active. So these are 4 presentation of objects at the 5 door processes. So here, 5-door cognitive process means the cognitive process that arises in the eye door, ear door, nose door, tongue door, and body door, right? The 5 door. So regarding with these physical 5-door cognitive process, so we have 4 levels of occurrence of the mind. If the object create, or if the object cause the great impact to the mind, that will be very great. Second level will be great, right? The great object. Then third level, light. The last one, very light. Even among the 4, we have 2 type of great cognitive process, and we have 6 type of light cognitive process, and we have another 6 type of very light cognitive process, right? Later we have to learn all this one. So for the time being, please remember that we have 4 presentation of objects at the 5-door process, 4 level of the objects at 5-door process, right? The next one, 2 presentation of objects at the mind door process. We have a clear objects in the mind, obscure objects in the mind. But here, please take note this note. Generally, the impact of the objects, great or light, determine the occurrence of cognitive process. So when you take the example of grass, the grass and jewelry on the ground, right? The size is the same, but the impacts of the object in your mind is different, right? Different. If the impact is great, so that will be that the object will be that we can call the object as a great object, right? Jewelry is a great object. The grass, not a great one, right? Not a great one. So regarding with the mind door process, the impact of the mind, the impact of the mind, the power of the mind, whether it is clear or obscure, determine the occurrence of the mind. It depends on the power of the mind, right? Regarding with the 5 doors, 5-door process is impact of the power of objects, right? Regarding with the mind is power of the mind. Is power of the mind, right? So these are 6 presentation of objects, 4 in the 5-door process, and 2 at the mind door process. Got it? Okay. Question on there?
Bhante, I want to clarify about the impact of the object. When we see an object, I'm trying to understand is could it be related to feelings or how we value or perceive the objects as the impact to the mind? So the intensity of the impact or the intensity of what we see or the mind, the intensity of the mind would depend on feelings or perception of the mind.
Yeah, you're correct. It depends on our feeling. It depends on our perception. So when we are very young, 100 Singapore dollar is very, very big amount, right? It impact to your mind is very great.
I took the example of the grass and the necklace.
Yeah. The same thing, right?
Okay, thank you.
Therefore, I always give example of a very rich man, right? The rich people, if you give 100 to them, it will not affect to their life. But if you give the same 100 to the very poor people, For him or for her, it will be great, very, very great amount, right? So that is not depends on the sight or the value, how to say, the value of. It depends on the, how to say, feeling, perception, maybe so many conditions, right? So many conditions. The mind or process, clear, obscure, right? Now let's talk about the indoor process. Indoor process. So this is a how to say? This is a the very great objects. So when we see a very great objects, so we will have a full cognitive process. This one is a very great object, full cognitive process pattern, right? Pattern. So we have a stream of bhavacakka. So look at the we have it, the first mind process as a rebirth linking consciousness, right? The first mind movement. Then after that, we will have a lot of mind process. In between, we will have a light continuum, right? Light continuum. Then after that, a lot of mind movement, light continuum, a lot of mind movement. Then when we die, death consciousness, right? Don't forget this one. So there are a lot of light continuum, a lot of bhavacakka in our life, right? Then when we have a contact, when our mind contact with the outside objects, right? Suppose when we see something with our eye sensitivity, so active mind process going to happen, going to arise, right? So by that time, bhavacakka, which is flowing quietly, start flowing quietly. Maybe we can call it stream of bhavacakka, right? So when active process of mind is going to happen, it have to be stopped, right? It will stop. So one mind movement arises at a time. That's a very important one, right? It's a very important concept in Buddhism. So two mind movements cannot arise at a time. So bhavacakka also one of the mind movement, right? If bhavacakka is flowing non-stop, so there will be no chance for the active process of mind. So now, as we have a contact with the object, so active process of the mind is going to arise. For that reason, existing bhavacakka vibrate. Sorry, before vibration, we have a past bhavacakka. So that is very important. It's very important. So here, only one past bhavacakka. So as I give the example of the person who is running, right? Somebody is running with the full of force. Then halfway, another man trying to deter him, stop him, right? Then as he is running, he cannot stop the place he is ordered, but he passed a little bit, right? So now the stream of bhavacakka is flowing quietly. But even though our mind, our eye sensitivity have a contact with the outside object, the stream of bhavacakka cannot stop at once. At least, even though the object is very great, then at least it have to pass one bhavacakka, right? So that is called past bhavacakka. So to know whether the object is very great, light and very light, it depends on the past bhavacakka, right? So if we have two past bhavacakka, that will be great object. And if we have a three past bhavacakka, it will be still second great object. So if we have a four past bhavanga, that will be light object, right? It will go like this, right? It will go like this. So here remember that past bhavanga is very important. So it will play very important to know the level of impact in our mind, right? So at least, however the object is great or very impact is too big, at least the bhavanga will pass one, right? One time. So that is the past bhavanga. Past bhavanga. Then after past bhavanga, the bhavanga will vibrate, shake, right? Bhavanga will shake because it's flowing quietly, right? If the water from another river come to the river, right? The current of the water flowing quietly, it will shake, just like that, right? The vibration of bhavanga. Then after that, it will stop. Rest bhavanga. So in Pali, it is called Pengu Bichera. Bichera means stop, right? Or rest bhavanga. Then after that, mind movement will arise. Five-door adverting switch or five-door adverting consciousness. So as you all know, this is the color is changed to red color, right? It changed to red color. So blue color flowing quietly. So when the active process of the mind arises, bhavanga have to stop. Then after arrest bhavanga, five-door adverting. Then after that, eye consciousness. Then after that, receiving consciousness. Then investigating consciousness. Then determining consciousness. So even though we have two types of eye consciousness, one time, one mind movement, right? If you see pleasant object, that will be eye consciousness. That is the result of wholesome deed. If you see unpleasant things, so that will be because of unwholesome deed, right? So at one time, there's only one type of consciousness. So even though we have two types of receiving consciousness, in one process, there's only one mind movement, right? Then even though we have three types of investigating consciousness, only one, same thing, right? Then determining consciousness. After determining, we will have a jhana, 7 jhana. So jhanas are very important that we can call them wholesome or unwholesome, right? Or indeterminate, right? Abhidhamma. So after determining, we will experience the object fully. The rector, one of the famous seers in Myanmar, he translated jhana as a dynamic. Dynamic is that means the power is the force is too great that we experience the object by force, right? By force. So therefore, when we like, and we will have our mind experience that one. And when we don't like also, our mind experience it, right? With the force, right? So that is called jhana, and we have two retentive. So actually, in the great object, we will not have two retentive. We will not have two retentive. Because the object is too great that, and we have two retentive. Then after experiencing the object 7 times, then we trying to take the same object, right? Then we experience it again. So that is called retentive. Then after 2 retentive, stream of bhavanga again. So in this way, so we have a 70 mind movement. 70 mind movement. Then just look at this one. It's more example. with a stream of bhavanga, we have only one past bhavanga. We have only one past bhavanga. And we have a vibrational bhavanga, a rest bhavanga. Then these all are bhavanga, right? Like continuum. Then after that, the red color. So these red color are active mind process. Vital abiding, unconsciousness, receiving consciousness, investigating consciousness, determining consciousness. Then 7 jhana and 2 retentive. Then after that, stream of bhavanga. So when you look at this one, we have a 70 mind movement, right? So among the 70, we have a 40 active process of consciousness, 40 active process of the mind. You can look at page number 155, right? Page number 155. Okay.
Just now you mentioned if the impact is very great, then you have 2 past bhavanga. And also you have 2...
No, if very great, only 1 past bhavanga.
If it is not great, it's very light, and you have 2 past bhavanga.
Later we will go to that. Because here we have 4 level of impact, right? Very great, great, light, and very light, right? If the object is very great, only past bhavanga. Only 1 past bhavanga, including retentive, right? If the object is just great, right? No very great, not very good, just great. So there will be no 2 retentive, no two retentive. So but still we have a 1 past bhavanga. We have 2 type of great object, 2 cognitive process. The one only 1 past bhavanga, only 1 past bhavanga, but without 2. Sorry. So I have to look at my note. It's confusing. As you all know that if the object is very great, only 1 past bhavanga, right? Only past, here, look at this one. Only past bhavanga, but together with retentive, 2 retentive, right? 2 retentive, retentive means actually we trying to experience the object. We take the object fully for 7 times. But our mind not satisfied yet. That we trying to take the same object 2 times. That is retentive, right? That's retentive. Because the object is very great. But second one, great. We have a 2 type of great object. 1, 2 past bhavanga. 2 past bhavanga. So the reason is I will give you the same example. So one man is running, running, quickly, right? Running quickly. Then another, the policeman. Let's look at the policeman trying to stop that man. But he passed only 1 time, right? So that will be great object. Then he passed 2 times. 2 times. So that will be great object. But if he passed 3 times, we can call we still call it great object, right? Great object. But here, when we use 2 past bhavanga, right? 2 past bhavanga. So you add another past bhavanga. Altogether, there will be 80, right? 80. But the nature of mind The nature of mind is it has only 70 mind movement. It doesn't exist, right? Or also it doesn't less. So it must be exactly 70 mind movement, right? 70 mind movement. So therefore, but when we add another past bhavanga, that will be 80, right? So it cannot be 80. So therefore, so when we talk about great object, in the great object there is no retentive. But regarding with the retentive consciousness, you cannot remove only one. You have to remove two. If retentive arises, they arises together, not one. So here, as we have a 80 mind movement, if we remove only one retentive, it will be enough. But the mind, the nature of the mind, the process of the mind, only 70. And retentive consciousness arises together. So therefore, so we have to remove both of them. So if we remove two retentive consciousness, there will be only 16, right? But the mind doesn't arise less than 70. So therefore, if we with only 16, we have to add another mind movement. It is called bhavanga. That means after 7 jhavana, there will be bhavanga. Only after that bhavanga, stream of bhavanga will arise. Okay? That is the nature. Actually, I didn't write down my note. So later I will give you write in the note. This is a very important one. The method. This is the method. How the mind walk, right? So at the 5 door, regarding with the 5 door cognitive process, 5 door mind process. So the mind process might be exactly 70. Not less than 70, not more than 70. So when you look at a very great object in the indoor process, you can see the number 70, right? 70. So in the great object, so we have a two type of great object. So the first one is a two past bhavanga. So if we add two past another past bhavanga, the number will be 80, but it doesn't arise in that way. So we have to remove two retentive. So if we remove two retentive consciousness, so there will be only 16. So therefore we have to add another bhavanga, right? Just bhavanga here. Then after bhavanga, we have a 70 mind movement. 70 mind movement. Then after that, stream of bhavanga. Look at this one. Generally, duration of the material phenomena lasts 70 mind movements. 70 mind movement. That is very important one. That's very important one. Because we have eye sensitivity. That is material form, right? Then we see something, that one also material form. So by seeing, contacting these two material form, the eye consciousness arises, right? Eye consciousness arises. But to see the object, to know the object, there must be 70 mind movement. 70 mind movement have to be walked together. So only completing of 70 mind movement, the eye can see the object, right? So therefore, duration of the material phenomena less 70 mind movement, right? So our eye sensitivity see the object, the mind is walking, right? Enter 70 mind movement complete, then the eye can see the object, right? Right? So therefore, duration of the material phenomena less 70 mind movement. Another one, when you look at triple zero, you might wonder why we put triple zero. Bhikkhu Bodhi put this one. Bhikkhu Bodhi did not put triple zero, not zero. He put it asterisk, right? Asterisk. So there is a reason behind putting triple zero. So as you all know that unconsciousness arises, right? Then present for a while, stay for a while. Then after that, cease. Arises, stay for a while, and stop. So this is the everything regarding with the mind, regarding with the material form, arises, stay for a while, and cease. So that is, we call it set mind movement. 3 set mind movement. That is lifespan of in mind. So lifespan of in mind is only 3 set mind movement. Arises, stay for a while, and passes away. Right? At the same way, material phenomena also 3 light move. How to say that? Arises, stay for a while, and cease. But the lifespan of material phenomena is longer because it starts from here, past bhavacakka. So among the triple zero, as you know, the first one is the beginning of material phenomena, the beginning of lifespan of material phenomena. Then you can see the 2 retentive, right? At the last retentive, we have a triple zero. So the last zero is the lifespan of the last material phenomena. So in between, we have 49 set mind movement. So these 49 set mind movement are the lifespan, the presence of material phenomena. So when we look at the lifespan of material phenomena, it also arises and stays for a while and passes away, right? But according to this theory, among the past bhavacakka, we have a 3 type of set mind movement. The first zero is the starting point of material phenomena. And the last triple zero, the last zero or the last retentive citta is the cessation of material phenomena. But in between we have 49 zero, right? Actually 49 zero means 49 set mind movement, right? Set mind movement. So this is the duration of, we call it charata, or the presence of the material phenomena. So in Pali we have a occurrence, arising, titi, stay for a while, then banga, and passing away, right? Passing away. So the mind arises and stay alive, then passes away, dying, right? So here, arising of material phenomena is the first zero, or say past bhavacakka. Cessation of material phenomena is the last zero of second retentive citta. In between we have 49 zero. That means 49 set mind movement. So this is the life, stay alive, right? Titi means the stay alive. So actually material phenomena stay alive for 49 49 sub-mind movement. Understand? I think it's very confusing. I think regarding with the lifespan of mind movement, is not, how to say, mind movement is not difficult. So when you see eye consciousness here, when you see eye consciousness, then you will see 000, right? 000. The first one is arising, and second one is stay for a while, stay alive. Then the last one is passing away, ceasing. Passing away, ceasing. This is the lifespan of a mind movement. Not very confusing, right? It's clear. But duration of the lifespan of material phenomena lasts 70 mind movement. But you can multiply 70 with the 3. Altogether 51, right? Altogether 51. The 51 is the lifespan of material phenomena, right? Actually 70 is mind movement. 51 is set mind movement, right? Set mind movement. So the lifespan of material phenomena also 3 levels: arising, stay for a while, and passing away, right? Passing away. So that means arising means the first 0 of past bhavacakka. That is arising of material phenomena, right? And it will grow until second less retentive bhavacakka. So the last 0 of second retentive consciousness is the ceasing of material phenomena, right? Okay. Question, please use microphone.
What is the meaning of material phenomena? Are you referring to, organs that grow in the body, during conception and all that? Are you referring to rupa?
Yeah. Material phenomena is something, the phenomena that is connected with the matter. So we have 28 matter, right? So actually we are composed of mind and matter. But here mind means 89 consciousness, 52 mental factor, right? That is the mind. So apart from those mental state, mental phenomena, the rest are called material phenomena. Our body, thing that we see, right? That is called material phenomena, right? Thing that is connected with the matter. The word phenomena is a little bit confusing, right? Little confusing. You understand? In Pali, and if you remember in Pali, nama and rupa. Nama, rupa. Even the nama, nibbana is included in the nama, but nibbana is not the mind, right? But apart from nibbana, the rest are Cheta and Chetasika, they are nama, because they have the ability to incline toward the object. That's called nama. But the rest are called rupa. Rupa means something that is the nature of how to say, the breaking apart or impermanence. So as we have a body, our body is changing. Sorry, the nature of changing. So apart from Cheta, Chetasika and Nibbana, the rest are called matter, right? Matter. So in other words, we can call it material phenomena. Material phenomena.
So, trying to understand. So, one mind process, one stream consists of 17 mind moments, as we see here, right?
Yeah.
So, therefore one, because just now you mentioned about material, and then I think the figure was 51. Did I hear correctly? So is it that the material process has got 51?
51,
portions.
51 is a mental mind moment, not a physical one. You can look at the zero, a lot of zero here, right? So this one, number one, is a one mind moment. In one mind moment, we have a three set mind moment: arising, stay for a while, and passing away. Right? That is a later I will write in my note. How to say? Opara, Bhavanga, and Titi Bhavanga, Banga. So we have a one mind moment. Past Bhavanga is one mind moment. Then we can divide that mind moment into three set mind moment: arising of past Bhavanga, stay alive of past Bhavanga, and passing away of past Bhavanga. Right? In each mind moment, we can divide into three type of set mind moment. Right? So even though we have a 70 mind moment, if we multiply these 70 mind moment in terms of set mind moment, we have a 51. So 51 is mind moment. So these 51 set mind moment, only completing all the 51 set mind moment. In other words, completing all 70 mind moment is called the lifespan of one material phenomena. Suppose sounds is a material phenomena, right? Material phenomena. Then we have ear sensitivity. To hear the sound with our ear, we need 51 set mind moment to complete, and we need 70 mind moment to complete. Without completing all these 70 mind moment, we cannot hear the sound, right? The sound. But and we hear, suppose stream of Bhavanga, past Bhavanga, vibrational Bhavanga, arrest Bhavanga, fight or advancing, ear consciousness, right? Then with ear consciousness, then the mind process stay on enter to retentive, right? Then only after the less retentive, even to say exactly, the less set mind moment of second retentive chatter, then we can hear the sound, right? So therefore that sound lasts, the lifespan of the sound lasts 70 mind moment, right? 70 mind moment. So these 70 mind moment can multiply with the 3, because we have a one mind moment have a three set mind moment, right? Altogether 51. Among the 51, so the first set mind moment is arising of material phenomena, arising of rupa. Then the last set mind moment is ceasing of rupa, ceasing of material phenomena. But in between we have a 49 set mind moment. So that is a lifespan, actual lifespan, right? Actual lifespan.
So the material phenomena here refers to the phenomena that comes through your doors, right?
Sorry?
Doors. So the material phenomena here refers essentially to the phenomena that or the object that you take that comes through your doors. It must be the doors.
Yes.
Okay. So, sorry, can I just go back to the very great objects and then the great objects?
Okay.
Yeah. So, if there is a very great object, I win $100 million. Okay. So therefore, there will be one past bhavanga
Yeah.
and then two retentive bhavangas.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So if I win not 100 million, which is very great, but
Sorry?
only one. So if I win $1 million,
Okay.
so that means less, not so great. $1 billion. So there could be two past bhavangas. No.
I think it not about 1 million or 2 million. It's about perception or your feeling, how you perceive and how you feel about it, right? So for Bill Gates, right? For 1 million is not a big amount for him, right? What I mean is not about the quantity and quality. It depends the impact of our mind, how we perceive, how we feel about it, right? So therefore, the here very great me, not about the size, not about the quality, not about the quantity, right? Quantity. So even though you are interviewing on the candidate to work with you at the in your office, but even though the candidate has a full of quality, right? But impacts in your mind maybe not that great, right? So here, the very great me about it depends on, of course, the object is very important. The object determines, but even though the object is a very, very big one, the quality is very high one, but the impact of that object in our mind may not be the same, right? Even the morning, evening may not be the same, but the same object but may not be the same, right? When you look at a couple, right? When they get married, the earlier time, very great object. Later, great. The object became great. Later, light stay okay. Very light, no good. So just like that, the same object, right? The same object, but how we perceive, right? Times change, right? A lot of conditions.
So one last question.
Okay.
Because okay, so so the more impactful the object is to you, you will have one past bhavanga.
Yeah.
And you will have two retentive. Right. And then the least.
But regarding with the retentive, we have three criteria. So later we will learn. So actually the meditation object for the jhana, is very clear, but there is no retentive. So actually there is three criteria, right? Later I will let you know. But regarding with as far as five physical door is concerned, if the object is very great, we have two retentive. Question? Okay. Later I will come with the note. Then mind door process. So we have two presentation of the object at the mind door, right? One is clear, another one is obscure. So as usual, we have a stream of bhavanga. Then mind door process is going to arise. So therefore, the bhavanga vibration of bhavanga. Then no past bhavanga, at once arrest bhavanga, stop. So in the mind door, there is no past bhavanga. So that is a because how to say the movement of the mind is so quick that there's no, we cannot call past bhavanga, right? At once, as soon as we have a contact with the object, the bhavanga vibrate. Then after that, stop. Then after that, we have mind door adverting, mind door switch, right? The mind door is open. Then after that, javana, 7 javana. But here you can see that there's no receiving consciousness. There's no investigating, no determining, right? No determining. So the reason is, for the mind, when you take something in your mind, so the lifespan is very quick, right? No need to investigate, no need to receive. At once, you can experience. Now you are sitting, right? If you think a good memory in the past, then you can experience at once, right? So therefore, there is no past bhavanga, no receiving, no investigating, no determining. At once, as soon as mind door open, then javana. You experience the object at once. So here, clear object. Therefore, we have a two retentive consciousness. Then after that, stream of bhavanga. Stream of bhavanga. If the object is obscure object, then there will be no two retentive consciousness. After javana, stream of bhavanga will follow at once. So that is a two presentation of the object at the mind door. Here, presentation means how the mind, the level of the mind arises, right? At the mind door. So that is a mind door process. If the obscure objects mind door process, so there will be no two retentive consciousness, right? And this is a roughly, but next week I will talk in detail together with the note. Any question? Okay. Excuse me, the microphone. Sorry?
How does the idle process for light object works?
Light object and very light, right?
Yes.
Okay. So regarding with the five door mind process, so at the very light, very great, only one past bhavanga, and great, two past bhavanga, and three past bhavanga, right? And light object, 4 past bhavanga, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 6 type of past bhavanga, light bhavanga, right? Sorry, light object. In the light object, so there will be 6 type of mind process, starting from 4 past bhavanga, right? 4 past bhavanga. In the light object, so there won't be no javana. There will be no javana. So your mind will start determining. So the object is too weak that there's no javana. You determine, then cannot experience the object. Then bhavanga. So actually later I will show with the example, right? Then second light object. So there will be 5 past bhavanga, right? then you have to add one more bhavanga at the end. And then later I will show with the chart. It will be much clearer. Regarding with the very light object, even there is no active process of the mind. It stops vibrational bhavanga. There is no active process of the mind because the object have a contact with the external basis, just contact, but there's no active mind process. Bhavanga just vibrate, bhavanga just shake, right? So that is called very light object mind process. So actually this is the level of the level of object, how they have an impact to our mind. Sometimes impact is very big and very great object, right? But impact is great, not very, right? The jet javana, no retentive. But the impact is too light, right? Like that, there is no javana, not even the javana. Just determine, right? Trying to determine, but we cannot determine whether it is good or bad, right? There is no javana. But at the very light one, not even active process of the mind. So we cannot call cognitive process. We cannot even call cognitive process. We call it moga vara. Moga means maybe empty one, empty of active process of the mind. But because the reason is it vibrates the bhavanga, so therefore we still call it as a cognitive process, right? So I think that if we show with the chart, it will be much more clearer. Huh?
Sorry,
Okay.
Bhante.
Okay. One more question.
This is idle process. So assuming that if I'm watching a movie, I'm going to watch a movie.
Okay.
I pay attention. I will still have one past bhavanga because I'm ready for the movie I'm watching. I'm waiting for it to start. So there will definitely be a past bhavanga.
Yeah. No. It depends on how the movie impact your mind. If the impact is too great, if you feel it
Yes.
emotionally, that will be very great one.
But I will still, irregardless, I will have a past bhavanga.
Oh, sorry. Continue your question.
Irregardless, that means I will still have a past bhavanga because in theory it's a 17 mind moment.
Yeah.
In theory. So, but this 17 mind moment is like a standard fixed order. It has to come with stream of bhavanga, then past bhavanga. So, but if I'm very ready to watch a movie, I get 100% attention and I'm waiting to see, I will still have a past bhavanga.
Actually, we have when you see the movie,
Because you are
because
actually waiting.
million and billions of mind movement arises.
Oh.
So that is only small part of the mind process. So when we see something, the billion actually according to the Buddha said that in the in Nikaya, the Buddha said that the mind is the most quick element, so quick that he cannot see any simile and any example to give. So the mind is the more quickest element, right? But in the commentary mentioned that even a 1 second, maybe only 1 or 2 seconds, right? So many, even billions of mind can happen. Mind movement can happen. So that means when you are watching, right? Even prepare to watch in a movie, there will be billions and millions of mind movement, right? But those mind movements, some mind movement can be very great, some may be great, some may be light, some may be very light. So therefore, not only one pass, only pass bhavanga. You see, billions and millions of mind movement, right? Between one standard one mind movement, if the object is very great, there will be only one pass bhavanga. Is it great? 2 and 3, etc. Right? Okay. Microphone.
Sorry. Okay, so meaning that the lighter the object, the more bhavanga.
Sorry?
The lighter the object, the
yeah.
more bhavanga,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And what is the reason? Is it because the object is light, so the mind is not interested in taking over? That's the key
Not
reason.
pay attention.
Okay. Like for example, if I watch a Tamil movie if there's a Tamil movie going on TV, you know, then it's a light object to me. So just bhavanga. I just notice it, but then after that I walk away. So that is considered a very light object. Okay. So the mind of a person who is very mindful, like a Arahan, mindfulness, his object is not considered light object. His should be a full process, but the difference. Correct. So, sorry, I mentioned it again. So the mind of a person full and so his mind process is not that of a very light object, because
we cannot say so. The reason is, suppose Arahan is taking a car, right? Taking a muddy train, just looking at the front, right? At the front. So something. Suppose the Arahan is taking a muddy train from Samadhi to Jurong West. Then Arahan may see the people, right? Then indoor process will arise. As a Arahan, of course it can be very great, light and very light. But while he is looking at the friend, but at the side, beside there may be some trees and some building, right? Sometimes, even though his eye have a contact with the trees and buildings, so he may not notice, right? So those, even though the eye sensitivity have a contact with the building and trees, but still have his bhavanga will vibrate, still have my 5 door advancing will open the door and receiving, investigating, determining jhana, and even retentive. But it depends. Sometimes if just contact with eye sensitivity and building and trees, but he doesn't know what is it. In those times, maybe very light or very light. It's not about mindfulness. It contact with the sensitivity. The most important things, when you look at 4 conditions of indoor process, right? Then the last one is attention. So Arahant may not have attention toward the building or toward the trees, but those trees and building will have a contact with the eye sensitivity, right? So in those times, maybe light and very light. Okay, the last one, the Messiah, you want to discuss?
I think we are quite confused with the past bhavanga and object. We always think that big, how big, small, how small. So you're trying to figure big and small. But there are some rule of citta you must understand first. If you do not understand the rule of citta and you're trying to understand the thought process, you'll be more confused. Okay, one thing you must understand, the bhavanga is running at a very, very, very high speed. Second thing you must understand, all bhavanga are having their own object. And this object is your last stop moment. The object of the last stop moment. So this bhavanga having object, and when something comes into your eyes, that is another object. So this new object is trying to replace your old object. So when this object, the new object is trying to hit on the bhavanga, okay, they hit on the bhavanga and trying to replace the object, capture the object. So if they say the impact is not strong enough, then this trying need to have 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, until you hit the what I call the bhavanga and causing the vibration that followed by the replacement. Okay, so you must understand it's a replacement of the object. So if the impact is not strong enough, you need 2, 3, 4, the past vanga, in order to vibrate the what I call the old object. Then the next thing you need to know is your registration. You must always appear in pair. If it say you cannot, there's no room for this pair of registration, then you totally disappear. Okay, the next rule is the javana also must appear 7 times. Okay, if they say no room for this 7 javana, then it will totally disappear. So if you understand this rule, later on you find that the rest of the what I call, whether big object or small object, your mind or process, basically it's all follow this rule. You got me?
I think it's a good point. Yeah, good point. I think without showing the chart and difficult to visualize. So next week I'll prepare the chart, right? So if you see the chart, the pattern, it will be quite clear. So before that, please remember, as Mr. Yep pointed out, one of the things is the 2 registration will arise together. If there is no place for registration, so they both will disappear. 7 javana also will arise together. If no chance, they will not. Right? That is a important rule. Okay. I think later, no question. Time is up. Thank you so much. Next week. Yo varatam bhavaro Manu Jesu Sakya Muni Bhagava Gata Kecho Paragato Bala Vidya Samangi Tansukatan Saranatamu Pemi Raga viraga maninjama soka Dhamma masanga dhamma patikulan Marurami mamba gunan suvipatan Dhamma mimam saranatamu pemi Yata chade nama hapalamahu Chatusu susisu purisayugesu Atacha bogala dhammadasate Sangami mansaranatamu pemi Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.